Welcome Sorcerers, I'm your humble host Eunice and you're watching Contested Cards. This is another quick off-the-cuff video covering current updates. A little over 2 weeks left until the Dragonlord Mini-Set finally releases. In this video I want to go over the set one last time before the official launch on August 2nd. But before we get to the updates, let's first address the elephant in the room. There are legitimate concerns of availability in the community, and so far it seems like the limited nature of this release might leave many without a box on launch day. Many stores haven't gotten their allocation as of the making of this video, but the some that do have are reporting scarily low numbers. Team Covenant sold out with a 1 box per person limit, though we've heard that their inventory was extremely low to begin with. Ed is still selling his deluxe bundle with art card and signature on Patreon, which is where I would advise collectors should go from here. There will be store supply, though again most likely very limited, a big unknown at the moment. No retailers apart from TC have posted any offerings online so far, do keep out an eye for that. But we know Eric's Curiosa will have boxes on hand at the various trade shows they are going to attend this year, and most likely beyond. Gen Con is already looking pretty booked though. Apart from that, there's still the small chance to win one at one of the upcoming Cornerstone events. With that being said, however big this run actually ends up being, I don't see them meeting 100% of the demand, and I don't see them reprinting it as was the case with Beta. Which leaves me genuinely torn on this issue, as there are many perspectives to consider, and in the end we'll still have to wait until release and after to confirm what we are now suspecting and speculating about. First off, the player's perspective, which just plainly sucks. Everyone that wants to play with these cards should have reasonable access to them, especially if they are relevant to high-level play. Yeah, second market, blah blah blah, a box should be ripped yourself and smelt and caressed and loved. But of course, buying singles will always be an option for those seeking. If the Dragonlord ends up being as meta-defying as, for example, the Avatar of Air, it might reach a hefty price tag. Cool for everyone that already has one, sucks for players looking to buy this one specific avatar. Beyond that, one must address the failed communication here. We didn't know it would be that limited. We couldn't prepare. The word limited didn't even stick out to me until this point, and I'm sure I wasn't the only one. And if it's just my stupidity that I couldn't realize what the plan was from the beginning, they might need to print that in pride-glowing letters next time. Then there's the collector's perspective, in which any form of overprinting would quickly result in declining value of the 13 cards in the set, with foils sure to still have commanded their respective value, but box product would have suffered immensely. With this level of scarcity, foils will end up being highly costed and sought after cards probably exceeding the price of the set itself. This is the point where I advise you not to give in to scalpers, who will no doubt try to flip these following the launch for ridiculous prices. Don't fall for FOMO, relax and wait a bit for a fair offer to come around. Then there's the company's perspective, which is in a constant struggle to balance both other perspectives, and we'll have to wait and see how they end up doing. Regarding profit, while the price point of $60 is nothing to sneeze at, I don't see any attempt at a cash grab here. Though I'm starting to get worried that they might raise the price against Gothic. Unfounded so far, but still possible. Then there's the store perspective, which can't serve their customer base adequately, leaving potential profit on the table. And for fun, let's throw in the content creator perspective, in which I have to be able to get one to cover it and tell the world how awesome Sorcery is. Yes, I got one, but still some other creators might not have, and that would be ridiculous. And then there's Ed's perspective, who's just happy man. And you know what? I'm happy for him. He deserves it. For me, this all comes down to a communication error first. There's nothing wrong with having a limited release by nature, as long as it's an exception to their model and not the norm. But we simply should have known from the get-go, this will be limited and really hard to get. They might have mentioned it somewhere, but again, louder and clearer please. EC probably wasn't aware themselves how limited it would end up being, But still, that wouldn't excuse simply popping up 2 months before release, with new wording and finding out on pre-order day how bad the situation actually is. It might be wishful thinking, but I still hope everyone who's really looking forward to the set is able to get their hands on it at a reasonable price, if not MSRP. We also don't know how much stock EC will be holding onto to slowly trickle out at events. Okay, with that being addressed, let's move on to all the new information we've gotten since my last video on the topic. To switch to something more positive, I must commend EC for still having spoiled only 4 cards in total as of now. They managed to keep that signature surprise factor when a set releases, and I hope that never changes. Talking about changes, a big one is that all cards in a set are now of unique rarity, meaning 1 box is enough to complete a playset. This is a very player-friendly move, but unfortunately means we still won't be able to fully build out a dragon deck, tribal style. All 13 cards from the set are included with 1 random premium foil. Never not expect curio potential here. Let's go over the new card first, as it's by far the most exciting. TCG Player got the exclusive reveal for our second member of the unique dragon family, CAELESTIS. She's a 4 elemental cost reducer that one day might be the strongest among her brethren when finally enough dragons roam the realm. As Ed mentions on his website, CAELESTIS guards the gate to the spirit realm during the winter solstice. In this time, the wall to the spirit realm becomes so thin that spirits are able to speak with their living descendants to pass on their knowledge. Also, with the resurgence of the dragon set came fresh wording on the cards. Just slight adjustments for the Dragonlord, basically the same. The Harbinger of Fire now goes by Ignis Rex and doesn't shoot projectiles anymore, but burns everything adjacent to him. And the card formerly known as Dragon's Egg, which is now called Cradle of ETHERRUM, has a completely different effect as to before. It very much makes sense to change the effect when upgrading this card to unique rarity. For me, it kinda lost a bit of flavor. The naming is way more steeped in the lore though. I'm glad they continue to refrain from introducing more cards that are using counters. At some point they will have to go with at least a few more, but yeah, they're really unsuited for the game of Sorcery, and having to potentially move something like that around or keep extra track on it on the side just sounds way too bothersome for widespread use. The updated Cradle still reduces cost of dragons, but only by 1 statically, under the condition that said dragon is being cast from the top of your library, which can come in useful, but is a definite restriction to keep most decks away from running this. Still, it may find its use in decks searching for specific cards where constant knowledge of the top of your deck is key. That's all the cards we know of so far, for sure, just 4 out of the 13. The latest reveal was the artwork for ADTONITUM, which will be the air elemental dragon, and as such, by nature a pretty strong pick for companion. Might be my favorite artwork so far, kinda reminds me of the Red Eyes Black Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! For some reason. Lore-wise, her job is simple: channel enormous amounts of electricity into the Dragonlord's lair for him to use in his creation. And that has been it already. Again, Dragonlord is launching in just about 2 weeks on August 2nd. Can't wait to open one up, and maybe we'll talk about it once I've dug in. Now, to you. Have you gotten your pre-order in? Are you even interested in this release? And for those who get it, what's the first deck you plan on building? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, consider leaving a like and subscribing. And I see you guys next time.